The Minnesota Vikings are going all in on changing their fortunes heading into the 2026 season. They're deciding to sign veteran quarterback Kyler Murray for the upcoming year to replace potentially nine at the quarterback position. Vikings had one of the worst offenses in football. Now they add the two-time Pro Bowler. We're here to break down how this move impacts the fantasy football landscape of these guys in Minnesota and if the Vikings offense can return to form here in 2026. What is going on, everybody? I'm Blitzlink. I'm here with Bryce DeGroat. We're talking Kyler Murray. Bryce, what are your thoughts on the move overall?
Man, I like it for the Vikings. I already called my shot on Twitter. I said the Vikings are a playoff team if they get Kyler Murray, and I'm pretty much standing on that. And that kind of hurts to say because my favorite team is in that division. But I really think this team last year was like really complete from top to bottom. The roster was whole. Like they had a solid team. It was JJ McCarthy couldn't get the job done, or when Nick Mullins came
Boy,
in, or
nine.
what? Yeah, whoever came in, they couldn't get the job done. It was literally brutal to watch. And now you're getting a competent quarterback. I still believe in Kyler. I think Petzing put him in a tough spot in Arizona. He did some of it himself too, but we know the flashes Kyler Murray has shown. Like if he can get back to his 2022, 2023 self, you're talking about one of the best offenses in the league with Hockenson, JJ, Addison. The list continues, and a great play caller as well.
And I'll say this about the Kyler Murray situation. Looking at it from like Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, from those guys, Murray has been significantly better than those players. Baker Mayfield too, even throughout their careers. Like those guys were not two-time Pro Bowlers. Those guys were not leading their teams to the playoffs. The only one that did out of that group, right? Baker, when he was actually having a significant year. Daniel Jones made the playoffs, but it wasn't like Daniel Jones was the entire star of the show. Like Kyler was a massive part in this team making the playoffs, and he was a Pro Bowler because of that. And it wasn't like a Mickey Mouse Pro Bowl like we see nowadays on the AFC side of things. Like Kyler was a legit quarterback in this league, and that's why they paid him a ton of money, and he got that second contract. All those guys, they never got a second contract because their team didn't really believe in them. Now you look at this situation, and Kyler Murray enters Minnesota where he has a quarterback whisperer in Kevin O'Connell, has had a lot of success with guys coming through, and they're coming off a situation where JJ McCarthy had them ranked 28th out of 32 teams in EPA, right? Passing EPA, they were negative 0.19, which is historically bad. It can only go up for Minnesota. And Bryce, the crazy part about it, they were 9-8 last year because their defense was so good. They retained Brian Flores. They made some moves. They got rid of Hargrave and Allen, who were really bad run defenders. They're trying to increase that cornerback room, and I wouldn't expect anything less from them to go at a safety with their first round pick. So I think this defense could be just as good this year. Now it's up to the offense to take that next step, and I think Kyler Murray could provide that upside look for them. The biggest thing people want to know, though, is Justin Jefferson, right? He had a really rough year, specifically in fantasy football last season. It's safe to say he's back, right?
Yeah, I want to go back on one thing you said real quick
Yeah.
too. Two things. So, I think Dylan Thieneman to the Vikings at pick 18 is the most like straightforward pick in the entire draft. I think that's literally so perfect. And then the second thing is kind of hand back what JJ McCarthy said. To the day he got drafted, I posted on Twitter that JJ was going to be a bust. I didn't like him as a prospect at all. One of my least favorite prospects ever. I didn't think he should have been a first rounder, arguably not a second rounder, all this and all that. And I say this, I'm like, because I victory lapped on Twitter a little bit yesterday, and like the comments are a little rough. I will say, it's hard not to victory lap when you're a first rounder and people hype him up and you get benched. But we've seen this before. He's still on the younger side. So this Kyler Murray move is a 1-year deal. Yep. Sit behind Kyler for a year, develop. Like he still needs to develop, and maybe he can click down the road. But right now, Jaden McCarthy's taking that toll pretty quick, and you have to. You have too much talent on this Vikings team for him not to be that player. So that's just one thing I want to hit on. But JJ, I mean, this is my wide receiver one. Like, I don't know if I'd say for fantasy, my wide receiver one, best receiver in the league. I'm talking. I don't think there's a talented receiver as Justin Jefferson in the league. He's actually the first player I ever used guaranteed Hall of Famer on coming out of college. Jeremiah Smith will be the second one, by the way. But I called him a guaranteed Hall of Famer. I'm always a JJ fan. I think he is so special. Hopefully 5'10" Kyler Murray can get him the ball like he did, like JJ was getting earlier in his career with Kirk Cousins. And I think he can. I think Kyler is going to absolutely love this man. But you also got to look at how many mouths to feed in this offense as well. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think that, looking and breaking down the numbers, Jetta's last season specifically was a career low finish for him in points per game. Every other year from 2020 to 2024, he averaged 19.4 points per game. That's insane. Last year, 11.9. Despite that, he was wide receiver 28. His expected points per game based on his usage, he was sixth in targets, seventh in red zone targets, and I think he was 12th in air yards. Bryce, he would have been the wide receiver 14 based on his usage alone. So it wasn't like Minnesota was using him any differently. The quarterback play was that bad in getting him the ball. Still at 140 targets last year. And the most interesting part about Jefferson is he actually leads receivers all time in yards per game, right? He's the best all time through 94 games in yards per game. So Jetta's, I am completely not worried at all. And I do think there's going to be people that enter this year and say, I'm worried about Justin Jefferson because of his production last year. What happens if 9 is the quarterback for the Vikings this year? Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a similar situation to what we saw in Indianapolis last year. The better quarterback is going to play. Minnesota has a veteran roster. Kyler Murray is the better quarterback. He will play. Justin Jefferson is going to bounce back. None of his numbers and underlying numbers suggest that Jefferson himself is falling off. It was the quarterback play. And what helps potentially even more is Jordan Addison has a ton of stuff going off the field right now. Who knows if he's going to get suspended, traded, moved? I don't know. And, Minnesota could be in the market for another wide receiver to replace him. The one guy I think is kind of sneaky in this situation overall, and I know I've said he's dead in the past and he's no longer fantasy usable. It's TJ Hockenson. Kyler Murray has historically targeted the tight end position a ton in years past. And if Hockenson's still going to be the guy that leads the team in snap share, he's going to have a decent year. So I would not put it out of the question if TJ Hockenson, especially if Jordan Addison misses some time, could enter into that tight end 1 range once again.
yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And kind of going back to the JJ thing, how many receivers, like if you had a draft tomorrow, would you really take over him? Like obviously we're taking Jamar. Are you taking Puka? Probably, yes.
All right, let's do this. Okay. We're going to go one by one. Okay. Puka.
Jamar.
JSN.
I don't know if there'd be a fourth. I mean, you can.
I think the competition is you're debating between Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson in that slot.
Yeah, no, I'm probably taking JJ out of those guys, really.
Yeah.
Especially like if Addison's a full go, we could talk further. If Addison does get suspended for a time and it's really JJ, like I'm taking him for no doubt there.
I don't even think like if Addison like is there, it matters. I think that like either way,
I think it's the CD part. The CD part. Amon-Ra, no. CD part. Some about CD
part's
like,
tough.
I absolutely love this Cowboys offense.
I think that his ADP is going to be interesting for me. Like how are people going to price out Justin Jefferson based on his performance last year? And I think like if you're sitting in the back half of the first and Justin Jefferson falls into your lap, and then you could stack him with either a running back or you go full pass catcher stack and you can get like a Trey McBride, that is a elite start to your draft. All right, that's exactly what you want. My question for you, Bryce, to close this up, the running backs in Minnesota, they brought back Aaron Jones. Jordan Mason is coming back, so it's the same running back room. What do you expect from this tandem entering the year, and does this help their fantasy value?
Yeah, so Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones, kind of like a weird situation because like you got elite receiving core and nice weapons, but these guys don't bring much to the table. And I thought Aaron Jones was going to walk this offseason. I thought he was gone, probably going to do a reunion with Green Bay, call it a career, but he came back. And I personally view Jordan Mason as like the 3-down back at this point, the better overall back, while Aaron Jones kind of gadget guy, steps in once in a while, receiving back, big splash play here and there. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And Kyler Murray's rushing upside too. He hasn't ran as much as he used to in his career, but if he can get back to that, like it could be special. It opens up a lot, as we know. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that with the backfield overall, Kyler Murray has never historically targeted running backs. That's the biggest concern. And I think for Aaron Jones specifically, he's had a lot of fantasy reliance in Minnesota on what he can do as a pass catcher. With that value decreasing probably with Murray at the helm, that makes him almost undraftable in my mind. I don't see a world where I like drafting Aaron Jones. And then for Jordan Mason, I am intrigued to see if he takes a bigger workload with Jones getting older, the injuries happening. He was actually underrated last season. While he didn't like have the season like I expected, he was one of my favorite sleepers where he just absolutely broke out. But there were some nice performances mixed in there. I think he can continue to build on that in his second year in Minnesota, where the situation around him is a little better. So I think Mason's an intriguing RB3, RB4 add late in drafts, while Aaron Jones is still that guy you don't really want to be drafting this year.
And adding on top of that, like, don't forget last year when Aaron Jones got hurt, think about how much people were hyping up Jordan Mason. Like, he was a top 12 RB depending on the matchup, and that was with 9 at quarterback. You got Kyler Murray, which should be a more efficient offense, should open up the running game more. If Aaron Jones, who's very injury prone, does go down, you are talking Jordan Mason on a RB1 status on a week-to-week basis, really.
Yep. I absolutely love it. Well, guys, drop a comment down below how much you think the Kyler Murray addition is going to help this team overall heading into the 2026 season. Hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Sports media content. Me and Bryce will catch you all next time.